Hello folks! Well, compared to our long journey through the state of California, our adventures in Nevada are assuredly much shorter. 3 days, 3 locations, but we have already, and will continue today, to see quite a lot of what has shaped Nevada as a state. When the Comstock Lode of 1859 was discovered and spurred a massive immigration in the thousands of people to Nevada, railroads were an integral part of transporting not only goods but people throughout the communities that were built up to support the miners and the people involved with this silver industry, one of which was the Virginia and Truckee Railroad. And it serviced operations from Reno, where the Truckee River is, to today's location of Virginia City. This was the closest point to the Comstock Lode. To talk about classic Western boom towns, there may not be a greater, more influential example than Virginia City, Nevada. As you can see, we are very high up in these Nevada mountains, over 6,000 feet above sea level. And the little town that developed into a huge boom city in the middle of the 1800s, well, it's got a nice location. It's been perched up on the slopes of this mountainside. And as we begin to explore these very interesting streets which sort of meander along drivable slopes, we'll begin to uncover the tale of Nevada City as a once prosperous town, one of the most prosperous in the Wild West, and its rise and stagnation, and ultimately its fall from the list of powerful, influential American cities. Oh, thank you.
Just like that, down low. Oh. Or like that. I usually have people use fingertips because he drools a bit. Come on, man. We're walking. I'm going to tap your butt. Better move. Boop, 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 boop.
So we see today there's the large tourism appeal, lots of shops selling things like food, jewelry, various trinkets. But at one point this was that center meeting place of commerce, right next to the Comstock Lode. Now, the gold rush of California started 10 years prior. But once the Comstock Lode was discovered, the people who were sort of weaning off the excitement of this California gold rush were real excited to hear that in Nevada there was plenty of silver underground in those veins. The word about the Comstock Lode was getting around and spread like wildfire. So within a few days, it seemed, Virginia City was on its way to becoming Nevada's most powerful and rich cities. Now, why is everyone going mad over silver? Surely it's the gold that is what people demand, and silver is just sort of a substitute, an alternative, if people weren't having luck finding the gold. Well, at the time, there wasn't precise measurements to indicate the value, so it was just generally believed that silver was of the same value as gold. So of course that's going to prompt more or less the same amount of excitement towards seeking riches in these mines, just as the gold mines were full of hopefuls. So this is Virginia City at a distance. You can see all those old brick and wooden houses. And this is the architectural design that one would find typical of that time, mid to late 1800s. A very frontier-esque type of design. And really the Wild West was all about just roughing it. You didn't need elaborate designs. However, this was kind of an exception. It was that important that lots of Victorian architecture was built to give it the status of an East Coast level city with a Western charm, a Western flair. And this is the terrain on which Virginia City was established. Very mountainous terrain, of course. Well, the silver's gonna be there, so that's not gonna deter people. That's not gonna turn people away from settling where potential profit could be. So of course, great demand prompts great levels of settlement here. It was such a rush, actually, that problems started to develop in trying to extract this silver from the Comstock Lode. Yeah, it was getting kind of precarious and dangerous. There was so much rock and earth dug up underground that there was great risk of these mountainsides just collapsing. And so various engineering feats had to be developed here in Virginia City to prevent any major accidents while mining this great area full of silver. And yes, even companies today offer mine tours, so if you're so inclined, you can explore underground, see what it's like inside a classic Nevada silver mine. Mines like these around the Comstock Lode offered the new state of Nevada excellent economic opportunity and growth. Other areas of Nevada, especially this western part, were explored, but nothing offered greater wealth than the Comstock Lode. Such a high commodity will attract people from all around the country, even the world, to settle around here in Virginia City. The Comstock Lode was the principal source of silver ore in the state of Nevada, and it blessed Virginia City with a peak population of 25,000 people. Can you believe it? Up here in the remote mountains, 25,000 people, hopefully anticipating their stake in the wealth of silver ore that lies around here. Virginia City had so much potential back in the day that an extensive network of infrastructure and transportation was built connecting Virginia City very inland to the coast of San Francisco, another relatively new city this far west in the country, which at that point around the 1870s, had flourished. Virginia City was so wealthy, in fact, that it earned the nickname Richest City in the World. In 1875, however, a great fire ravaged this city and burned down all those buildings. Thankfully, to the local inhabitants, the mines didn't get damaged too much. Yeah, the residents were more concerned about the mines collapsing, getting damaged, than their actual homes. But the city we see today is actually the second rendition of it all. It was rebuilt shortly thereafter. At its peak, Virginia City was one of the largest cities in the entire American Southwest. Things were going very, very well for this old Virginny. So why are we in a cemetery right now? This is an old, one of a few cemeteries here in Virginia City that date back, well, to, I guess, the founding of the city, or the great prosperity the city had in that era. So let me introduce you all to the idea that I'm trying to give while we are at a cemetery. This is supposed to represent the symbolic death of Virginia City. So as we on the West have often discussed, how every boom is due to have a bust. So even for Virginia City, it is surely a must that the shine of her wealth shall indeed someday rust. So yeah, that's indeed what happened. As a matter of fact, by the end of the 1870s, the mines had run its course. It was much more difficult to attain the silver found in these ores, and the population had depleted because less and less people were turning a profit. The mines had just run their course, and it was time for Virginia City to begin its gradual, slow, painful death. The good news for Virginia City is, though, that after 160 years, this town still retains its Old West charm. Although the population only rounds out to about 800 people, and those people mostly work for the tourism industry here, and the tourism adds a very large layer of tackiness and superficiality, it is still nice to know when you visit here that it's kept the spirit that it once had. So how about that for Virginia City? May not be any longer the richest city in the world, but it's still a proper Old West town in my book. So that is what counts. Here on the Coverage Project, definitely a must-visit destination in Nevada if you really want to see how Nevada and its history has been shaped. Throughout my day here, I was getting constant reminders of Georgetown, Colorado. If you remember that, back in the Frontier Americana tour, we were in the state of Colorado, and we saw the Silver Queen of the Rockies. Very much got parallels, in my mind, to when we were there. Yeah, they're both silver towns, so it kind of makes sense. Old West charm, mountainous countryside. Yeah, but that is going to not only round it out for Virginia City, but that is going to round it out for the state of Nevada. We are done with the Silver State for now. I'd love a return. Maybe some other regions would benefit from having us come by, visit the place, and explore the cultural wonder of those regions of the state. But for right now, we are on to our next legs of the Best of the Most West tour. I reckoned that after a while of going through the Pacific coast, it was a nice time to take a detour and come inland for a little bit. But we'll be back on the coast before you know it. So with that said, I am done with today. What a great day spent in Virginia City. Nevada, you are a very underrated, underrepresented state in these United States. People think of you and they just refer to Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world, Sin City. And that's all they think of you for. It's a real shame. That end, you're the silver state, you're the silver to California's gold. It seems like you're overshadowed by all your surrounding states of California, Arizona, and people should take a closer look and inspect the beauty within your bounds. So I hope I did you well, Nevada, And for those of you all watching this and having no idea what lies beyond Las Vegas, I hope you enjoyed the adventures and learned a thing or two about this great western state. But that is truly going to do it. I have no more words for this day of adventure. It's been a pleasure exploring and learning about Virginia City. This is the place that made Nevada rich from its silver deposits. So looking at a great view of the now sort of ghost town Virginia City, still full of that silver glimmer in our hearts. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.